Hey, welcome back you guys. So today we are going to be talking about the new Easy Rider Concave that Deluxe is putting out. And I had the good fortune of being able to work on this with them. So I helped them develop it by giving some input during various iterations of the mold. How this came about was I've been riding Deluxe products for years, and Deluxe products have a fairly steep concave. Like, they ramp up pretty quick in this pocket. And I used to love steep concaves, so that was definitely my jam for a while, until I started riding flatter boards intermittently, and every time I would get on one, I would be like, my foot feels better, and I feel like I can actually flip it a little bit better. Because one of the things I noticed is if I'm on a flatter concave, it's like, I feel like I'm sitting in the board more, and when I roll my foot over to flick, there's not this like little valley here that you have to travel over. It's just like a direct contact. And as for comfort of the foot, well, I mean, my arch is shaped like this, so why do I want to spend all of my time on something that's shaped a lot like this? So that's partly why I find it so much more comfortable having a flatter concave. So when I mentioned this to Jim T from Deluxe, he said, well, we've been thinking about doing some sort of a mellower board for a long time, but there's been a lot of debate as to which direction to take it in. Do you want to help us with that? And so of course I did. So the first one they sent me had what I would call a directional shape. So the nose was a little steeper than the tail. I think the concave was more or less like what it is right now, which is, you know, on the flatter side. Like, you don't find as many boards with this flat a concave. It's definitely not on trend, which is a good thing in my opinion. But I told them the nose feels too steep. I kind of don't like it. I think what we should go for is a symmetrical concave. So the nose and tail on this are the same steepness, and it's roughly around 22 degrees, which is, I would say, exactly a medium steepness. It's not too steep, it's not too mellow. I told them to keep it the same as their R1 mold. So what we have here is like a flat concave across the rail and in the pocket, but the kicks are still a medium steepness. And there is also still some spoon, like some cup in the kick. So when your foot is on here and when you're flexing the nose and tail, they don't feel soggy, right? A good amount of spoon in your kick just helps your board feel right, and it helps the flicks feel on point. When it's too flat in this space, like when it's way too flat, if you put a straight edge across and it's like dead flat, well, wood's always gonna flex, so as soon as it flexes, it feels convex. Like, it feels the opposite way. So we wanted to avoid that. So I would say we found a really good balance of having flat middle and then decent kicks that still give plenty of pop. The other reason that I said we should make it symmetrical is because if you want to make a truly symmetrical board, then you can't do that on a directional mold, right? One that has a different kick angle from side to side. So in terms of where the wheelbase is situated on this deck, like, we talk about fingers of flat, right? So if you want to use my gauge, we're looking at about 2.5 fingers, and it's the exact same. I've checked the concave, like I've checked where the trucks are situated, and it's the exact same on both sides. And because the nose is longer, it gives the nose the slightest bit mellower pop feel. Not too much, just a little bit, which I'm actually finding is perfect, because when I skate switch and nollie, it's my non-dominant leg. So to have it be popping just the littlest bit easier is actually been really beneficial. Like, it makes certain tricks like a switch front teal or a switch back tail. Those are the kind of tricks that are hard when you have a board that's really, really steep, because it takes so much energy to kick down. Like, say on a switch back tail, you're trying to get onto the ledge and you keep like clipping your truck because it's so hard to snap your tail, you can't focus on the rotation. So there's like these certain tricks that I found I've been really benefiting from having that very, very slightly mellower nose. But if you're not particularly perceptive, I don't even think you'll notice it. So let's get into the dimensions of this and how this exact shape came about. Basically, I was riding the 8.25 full SE last year, and it has a 14.25 wheelbase, and it has the regular concave, the steeper one. And so the first thing I said was, well, I'm riding these Ventures, which have the forged base plate, and the forged base plate makes your wheelbase even wider. So Ventures already have the widest wheelbase. throw the forged plates, which are drilled a tiny bit different. Now it's extra wide. I was like, guys, I would love to try an 825 full SE with a 14-inch wheelbase so I can keep riding these trucks more comfortably. So that's how this shape came about, because if you look at it, it basically is the 8.25 full SE with a 14-inch wheelbase on the mellow concave. And the mellow concave, we already described why I wanted that. So some people have been wondering, why are you riding an 825 now instead of the 8125? It's because this is the board I was asking for last year. It's finally here. It would be kind of ungrateful to not ride what they finally made for me. So to give you the actual measurements here, it's labeled as 32.07, which is not actually correct. It's 32. Like when I measure both my slightly worn down board or the new ones with no razor tail, it's 32. It's not over 32. And the nose, if we want to look at it like this, it's 7 and an 8, maybe just a hair bigger, which is long, right? If I flatten it down, it's like 7 and 5/16. So having a shorter wheelbase will make your kicks a little bit longer. And yeah, that's a nice big nose. I love it. It makes it really comfortable for like nollie nose slide tricks, nollie crooks. There's just like a lot of room up here. You always feel really stable on there. And as for the tail, again, because of the longer wheelbase, the tail is on the longer side at about 6 3/4. There's a lot of noses on most boards that are 14 1/4 wheelbase that are 6 3/4. So this is a big tail. And if I have to point to anything that some people might not like, it's probably going to be the length of the tail. It makes the board hit a little sooner than some people would like. If you're riding really low or really light trucks, especially with the short wheelbase, it can make it prone to ghost popping. But on this exact combo, so with Venture Highs or the Venture Highs with the forged plates, it's pretty optimal. I have tried this on multiple other trucks. Like I did get a bout of madness where I switched my trucks for like 2 days and tried everything, and I went back to exactly what I started on, which was the forged Ventures. But on Indies, I did try it on Indies, even with the tight wheelbase, and I would say I had the best kick flips, tray flips, and frontside flips on the Indies. But the board felt really squirrely. It was riding I felt like I was never going in a straight line, even when I wanted to be. And also I could just feel that it was not, like the board felt off on Indies, whereas it feels intentional on Ventures. I tried it on Thunders. It was pretty darn good, but I was riding Thunder Lights, which have a forged plate, which make it lower, and some pretty small wheels. So while a lot of really technical tricks felt good, easy, where I was struggling was on when I was trying half cab crooked grinds. I kept just going into nose slide. Like I couldn't get the board up high enough to get into that. And same with backside 180 nose grinds going this way. I kept just getting into nose slide. Like the board was not going up high enough so that I could just lock right in. And those are two tricks that I like to do a lot, and I really didn't feel like going through an adjustment to try and figure it out, so went back to the Ventures. I would say these trucks give this board a slightly hefty feel. So there's a lot of feedback on your flicking foot, and some stuff might be a tiny bit harder than I would like it to be sometimes, but what I've learned over the process of like trying to design a custom board is that over 6 times with multiple different manufacturers, I've never got it 100% perfect. And sometimes you just have to go with what you're given and get used to that instead of like freaking out and trying to make it perfect. Because sometimes these unintentional changes in the shape or board can turn out to actually be better than you anticipated. So in this case, because I'm 6'1", a board at 32 inches long is actually a really nice length. So it's been good. The width, of course, is 825, and it's bang on 825 all the way across. Because it's the full shape, it's 825 even past the trucks, basically, right? Like, whereas a lot of the time a board will start tapering somewhere in the truck range. It's totally straight rail, so down at the tail, it does actually start to taper a little bit about here. Like, so if I measure it over the trucks, it's still 825. It really doesn't get under 825 until right here. So it's a very blunt shape. Anyways, that's about all I have to say about this deck specifically. I think we should skate it now so you guys can get more of an idea of what it looks like in action. Because that was a lot of talking, but I know some of you guys appreciated that. Some of you can't wait to just get to the skating. All right, you guys, we just had to have a mic change from the lapel to the shotgun, so don't lose your minds with the audio change. And also, this park is called Railside because it's right next to train tracks, and they're gonna be coming in and making all kinds of noise. But we are skating a typically rough northwestern skate park. This whole place is like sandpaper. You slow down the entire time you're rolling, but it's a fun old park that I used to come to all the time. And this has one of my favorite bowls. It really just slingshots you into every pocket. Hard to even ride out. This step up is such a good step up, but it's so rough now that it grabs your tricks when you try and pop.
Can't power slide that one.
Oh, you could. That was just me failing. Couldn't slide out of that one. Okay, wasn't as bad as I expected.
That flipped real good.
Yeah, we'll keep trying. What should I try that I won't not land? It's such a workout skating here, but apparently they're gonna resurface it in May. So I might start coming out here more. This used to be my favorite park. Let's do a few things over this hip, and then we should go to that manual pad, hey?
Let's do it.
I couldn't even power slide down that bank. Oh, try that again. Come on, come on. Oh, it won't slide. Oh. What was wrong with that one that I had to give up on it? I'm done with that now. Dude, this park is like, it used to be the kind of park that made tricks easier, and now it's almost like street where it makes the tricks harder. Okay, I wasn't going fast enough. That is literally the fastest I can push just to get the ollie over that. Oh.
I'm calling 180 switch Manny. Let's see it. Yep.
That's rare to get that first try. I think I'll take that as a win and move on to something else.
Right before you went, I said I'm calling 180 switch Manny, and, and you did it.
It's the trick. I almost had that.
Yeah, that was close.
If I do that on purpose, I'll take off half my tail. Oh! That was such a waste of an early melon. I keep ruining my good tricks with like flailing on that hip. I could just like take the roll away steezy, but no, I have to spaz out on the dinky hip. Oh, speaking of spazzing out. Full send, first try. I committed. Ah. Imagine if I hurt myself doing something that dumb. I'm gonna cut it out.
Ooh.
As much as I think this backside 360 used to be easier when this place was smooth, that gets me. I don't know if the ones I'm taking my feet off are spinning around full because I'm taking my feet off or because I'm not committing on the ones that would work. It's flaring up my Achilles, landing on it wrong. Might have to stop. When I had given up all hope. I think it would be cool to end it on a high note, but I got one more trick that I used to love doing over this thing that I want to try.
Oh.
I don't care if it might be able to be pop tire or cleaner. I'm fully taking that as a win because I'm only like, what, 2 or 3 tries deep? Gotta know when to fold them. Okay, you guys, that's about all I have to say about this deck. They do have an 8.5 also, Real does, and it's got the, again, the Easy Rider Concave. It has a 14.25 wheelbase. I think they used the same mold. They already have an 8.5 with a 14.25. It's just under 32 long, so it's a pretty compact board for the width. And it has that very slight teardrop shape where it's like 8.5 at the top and then just a bit over an 1/8 narrower towards the tail. I tried it. I think it just felt too short to me because of it being wider and shorter. It just made the whole thing like really squat to me, and I've gotten used to this longer 825. And there will be one other board available on this Concave. So I think this one's like Ventures. I think the 8.5 from Real is Thunder territory, or even Indies if you're into it. But I think this Anti-Hero right here, I think this one, it's got a 14.5 wheelbase. It's labeled 8 3/8, but if you measure it, it's pretty straight across the rail, and it actually measures a hair under 8.5. So great truck for like 149, 8.5 wide trucks. I think it'll be really good on Indies and Aces. I have messed around on it and tried it. It actually felt great. Like, my personal choice would be 149 hollows on this deck. I think it would be amazing. But again, really good for Aces because it has that wide wheelbase. Felt super stable on transition. And I also actually really liked it for flat ground. Like, I tried the tricks that are really hard for me, like a switch front heel, and I landed both first try. They weren't great, but like, it was a surprise, right? Like, this is a really nice shape. I think it's their classic 8 3/8 shape that's been out for a while. It's got kind of tapered kicks. Like I said, straight across the rail, tapered kicks. I'm pretty sure I skated this same shape when I rode it was an iShod 8 3/8 slick years ago. I did a review on that board. I'm pretty sure it's the same template on the new Concave. Anyways, those are the offerings that are going to be out there, you guys. So if you're interested, feel free to pick them up. And if you can remember to come back in the comments and let me know what you think of these boards. If you think there could be any improvements made, I'm really interested to hear the feedback. Also message me on Instagram, just Ben Degros. Yeah, I want to hear your feedback, right? I want to hear how you like it, where you think it can be improved. And yeah, this is exciting for me to have gotten to work on something like this. And I hope that it's a welcome addition to what's already out there. Deluxe is not getting rid of their traditional concave. It's a well-loved concave. It's a great concave. I just wanted something flatter. So super thankful to have been a part of making that happen. And yeah, if you're looking for them, go to your skate shops. That's where you're gonna find them, right? You're not gonna find direct to consumer from Real. Go to your skate shop. So anyways, thanks you guys. I hope you're doing well. Today was a good day. It's the nicest day we've had all year. It's warm, I'm in a t-shirt. See ya.